Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. As an astrologer, the number one question I get from my clients is, when am I going to fall in love with the right one? And there are several ways to determine this and give a specific window of opportunity, window for this alignment to happen, or several different windows that this could potentially happen. But what I find is the most powerful indication to equip my clients with is to give them the energetic blueprint of their spouse. So how I do this is a Vedic technique called locating the Dara Karaka. So the Dara Karaka is the placement that represents the spouse, and it is the planet that holds the lowest degree in the chart, which is not an outer planet, because the Vedic astrology does not use outer planets. So the Dara Karaka is going to indicate who the spouse is, the energetic vibration of the spouse. So if I'm looking at your birth chart and Venus holds the lowest degree in your chart, say it's at 0 degrees or 1 degree, we can say your spouse is going to be Venusian in nature. Your spouse is likely going to be very gracious and charming, probably an artist or a musician, definitely have artistic and musical abilities, likely be very in touch if it's male, if your spouse is male, very in touch with their feminine side. And if they're female, they'll likely be incredibly beautiful and incredibly artistic and just gracious and very, very feminine. If your Dara Karaka is the moon, if the moon holds the lowest degree in your chart, your spouse will likely be nurturing, likely have a lot of mood changes. Their mood can change like the weather at the drop of a hat. They might even have some moon features. They could have a round face. If your Dara Karaka is Mars, this means that your spouse is going to be incredibly ambitious, very motivated. They will be strategic and have great physical stamina. They could be incredible athletes, runners, anything that requires speed and energy. That's their demeanor. If your Dara Karaka, the lowest degree holder in your natal chart, is Saturn, your spouse is going to be incredibly devoted to something in their lives, incredibly focused and very timely. Your partner will dot the I's and cross every T and have a regimented and disciplined nature. If your partner or your lowest planetary body degree in your chart is Jupiter, your spouse is so much fun. Your spouse is the life of the party. Your spouse is like a big, warm, fuzzy hug. And your spouse will be incredibly wise, and you will just totally admire how they expand in their lives continuously, always expanding. And if your Dara Karaka is Mercury, you have a very suave partner, somebody who probably works in media or journalism, is some type of writer or communicator, a gifted communicator at that. Somebody who has a strong, agile mind, very quick thinking, and able to process and analyze many things at once. And if your Dara Karaka is the sun, oh my gosh, this is just like the embodiment of sunshine. You will always feel very protected when you are with them. Your partner is positive, very naturally optimistic. There's nothing phony about their optimism. They just truly are, by nature, optimistic human. And very just like that life force energy. When they walk in, it's just you feel it, and they're very healthy. Yeah, so I love doing the Dara Karka for every reading that I do. And of course, another way to determine compatibility, and there are many, many, many different ways to do this, but sticking with the Dara Karka is to look at your Atma Karka. So your Atma Karka, another Vedic principle, is the planet that holds the highest degree in your chart. And so if these two planets have synastry, for example, if your Atma Karka, your soul indicator, the highest planet in your natal chart, say it's the moon in Leo, and your Dara Karka, your spouse, is Venus in Aquarius, that is totally compatible because Leo and Aquarius are on that axis. This is my number one choice for compatibility because I definitely know that there are many different ways to look at compatibility. And what I've seen in doing so many astrology readings is that compatibility, more so than astrological synastry, has to do with the maturity of each individual and the amount that they are connected to themselves, and have done, continue to do their inner work. And so pretty much the main compatibility technique that I use is just the Dara Karaka and the Atma Karaka, because what that does is that gives clients an archetype to look out for, an archetype to just kind of separates the wheat from the chaff if they're single and dating, So if their Dara Karaka is the sun and they have this very Venusian person coming in, you could pretty much say, nah, it's really not them. It's not going to be them. And so they just perk their ears up, for the sun, the person who's like the sun. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick little synopsis on Valentine's Day for your spousal indicator, your Dara Karaka. And if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comment, or find me on Instagram at Divine Star Codes. If you'd like to book a reading, you can book a reading with me right on my Instagram page. It's the Book Now button. Thank you so much. Happy Valentine's Day.